What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromTechSupport. This story's called, "This is Bad Architecture, and Bad Architecture Isn't What You Need." I'm between permanent jobs, so I'm taking whatever projects come my way. One day, I get a call from Trusted Recruiter. They have a large client looking for some security architecture help with handling credit cards. It's not likely to turn into a long-term thing, but it'll pay the bills while I look for something else. I expect a week or two of waiting for onboarding to complete, so I take a road trip to the Tail of the Dragon and drink moonshine with a good friend on the side of a mountain where cell service is intermittent. On the way back, my phone stumbles on the edge of a cell, and I get an email from Trusted Recruiter on my phone. I don't even know of the message for a few hours because hot weather, mountain roads, and motorcycle. I stop for gas at 2:45 and notice that I have no signal, but I do see the email. "Sorry for the short notice. I need you to be on a video call at 3 p.m. with the client." Well, I've been riding in hot weather for the last few days, and there may have been some mud and dust, so I'm not really presentable. I run into the gas station to pay and ask about cleaning up. There's a line for the bathroom, so I collect 2 1-liter bottles of fizzy water and try to pay. I hear a collective sigh as the other 12 people in this gas station look at me like the inconsiderate Yankee that I don't want to be. The clerk gives me a forced smile. "Card machine's down. We're on hold." "Cash?" Clerk, well practiced now. "Cash register's locked. Owner put the key on his truck keys. He'll be here in 20 minutes. I can only do exact change." I look around. The good folk of this town have been waiting patiently while a wide-eyed Yankee just butts in the line. I also realize I'm dressed like a Power Ranger, smell like a farm animal, and am holding 2 bottles of Perrier. I am an awful stereotype. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Bother. I have 10 minutes to get cleaned up. I realize I can solve this problem. For perfectly legitimate reasons, I have $100 in $1 bills in my saddlebags. I walk out to my bike, root through my bags, and return with the stack. "Ma'am, I think I can solve your problem. You can make change with this to let everybody to go on their way. I'll take the water and come back to settle up in a bit." The clerk agrees after puzzling over it for a few seconds. I walk back to my bike. In the parking lot, I open both bottles of water, drink some, and use the rest to clean up with a credit card-like sliver of motel soap and a clean enough bandana. I switch out a dirty motorcycle jacket and a t-shirt for a professional enough collared shirt. I set up on a plain white wall and get on the call with ease. There's Trusted Recruiter, friendly and cool. Howard, client's product owner. He's got a strange intensity and shows his fears by lashing out. And Trevor, client's intensely strange systems engineer. His high school yearbook might read, "Most likely to stab someone over a difference of opinion on the meaning of red barchetta." Intros all around, and we get to the substance. "I want to make sure I'm getting what I need. I hate those consultants who just find problems." Well, I'll make recommendations on what you should do, and I'll help you find those people, but, And that's you steering the sucker to another con. You seem to think you had a problem. Could you give me an idea? Our last assessor didn't like our architecture. Anything in particular? I saw the schematics, but I'm confused by them. You can't understand it? Can't you do this? No. Here's what I'm failing to get. You've got 3 tiers of networks. I see blue, green, and red. Red talks only to the internet and green. Blue only talks to green, and green only talks to blue and red. That's right. Access between the networks is through the firewall or jump boxes. Blue is where we store and process the most sensitive information. Okay, that sounds good. I don't understand this part. If red, green, and blue are stacked on top of each other, what's this black vertical bar called flex? That's the flex zone. That's the flex zone. It's a scalable network that connects them all seamlessly. Don't you understand agile methodology? I'm just trying to understand this so I can help you. One more question. A system in the red zone could talk to one in the blue zone without going through green or any pesky firewalls. Yes, and there aren't any restrictions between the color zones and the flex zone. What about the internet? Any flex zone system can talk to the internet. I think I see what the auditors didn't like. And what is that? You built a nice fortress with walls within walls. Then you decided to blast a turnpike through it. Howard harumps and we end the call fairly quickly. I pack up and find my way back into the gas station. They've resumed normality. The clerk gives me my money with an air of amusement. I tried to give this back to you earlier, but you seemed busy. Were you working? I think so. We nod our goodbyes. I pull on my jacket, helmet, and gloves. My phone buzzes. Seems I have a start date. To be continued. Wow, that was a really good story. I'm very interested, despite not being super techie myself. This seems to be a story that's enjoyable by everyone and anyone, so that's something to appreciate here. Alright, this story's called Bad Architecture Part 2. Yeah, baby, there's a lot of parts, so that's good. I have a gig helping out large client address some bad findings from a previous audit. Trevor, a twitchy systems engineer, will be running this project. I've asked Trevor for my usual documentation list to get up to speed. The previous audits, any other assessments, architecture, policies, and procedures. I'm hoping to get to review some of this stuff before I show up to large client's office in a few days. I get a bunch of HR-related emails from large client as I leave the land of the Huddle House, but nothing from Trevor. I show up at large client's converted factory office park campus. I'm greeted by Justin, a pleasant PM type whose answer to anything other than the workings of the coffee maker is, "I'll get back to you on that," or "I'll send you an invite to that stand-up." My supplied cubicle has the detritus of a previous employee, but no phone or PC. Newly caffeinated, I settle into my cubicle and log into my large client email. Boom. There are about 1,200 unread emails. They can be broken down to 5% service welcome emails for all the collaboration tools large client uses, 3% HR onboarding automated mails to sign up for odd benefits like large client branded clothing, pet insurance, and the company newsletters, 1 email explaining that I'm not eligible for any of the above as I was a contractor, 92% service logs, no context, a few email threads and meeting invites. I accept everything, including a security logging project call this afternoon. I spend the next hour signing up for stuff and reading logs in the hopes that I'll figure out what's going on. Then I get a message come up on large client's proprietary chat. The best way I can describe large client chat would be this. Hangouts, Hive, Jabber, and Glip all went to Vegas for a long weekend because they wanted to hang out with Slack. They invited Teams because they'd bring the cocaine. Slack invited HipChat, then bailed at the last minute. Many yard-long margaritas, heat stroke, and bad decisions led to a screaming match, lost shoes, and vomiting in the parking lot of the Days Inn on Tropicana. The resulting child is large client chat, and it's an ugly, ill-mannered child. That said, I have a chat request from Vincent. "Welcome to the team! Can you validate that a finding is closed for us?" "I can try." "Great! Item 162. Can I have some context on the finding?" Vincent sends me 2 links, which both resolve to internal resources I don't have access to. I made requests for access, but I don't know how long that'll take. Can you give me the audit? Trevor wants you to get familiar with us before you see the full report. 162, though, is systems running unsupported software. Any particular systems? Sorry, forgot that you don't have the documentation. Vincent sends me a table. about 10 Ubuntu systems supporting an API. I'm not really sure what the API does, but this list shows they're all running version 1.4.6. Current version is 2.0.2, so these should get upgraded to close the ticket. I'll check and get back to you. Luckily, I don't need much access to determine the version. A quick web call to see the installed version, and 8 of the 10 are running version 1.4.6, and the remaining 2 are on 2.02. ILC Chat Vincent. Hey, these 8 systems still need an upgrade.
You're checking it wrong. I'll send you screenshots.
Vincent sends me a selection of screenshots of the same URL, but from 2 days ago. I repeat my test, take screenshots, and send them to Vincent. Vincent takes about 10 minutes drafting a reply that doesn't get sent. My phone rings. It's Howard, the product owner who took an instant dislike of me to save time.
I'll skip the niceties. You need to be more of a team player.
I'll work with your team to get the results you need, but I charge a lot more for fraud.
This isn't fraud.
Same test gets 2 different answers? I'd want to figure out why. And while we're at it, I need a copy of this audit.
You don't need it. You need to come up with a plan.
I need to write a plan to address an audit I can't see?
I want to make sure you don't use it against us.
Look, I'm not Williams of Bakersville here. I can't solve a crime in the library without going inside. I'm not even Adso of Milk. On a good day, I'm Salvatore looking for fried cheese. But it sounded like Bernardo Gooey found you all wanting.
I don't know what you just said.
You're the one who drove your car into the ditch. Do you want me to help, or do you want to yell at me for having an ugly tow truck? Vincent LC chats me another selection of screenshots. 7 of the systems are running the old software, and 3 are running the new ones.
I don't know what's going on. We're doing a call this afternoon. Can you make it?
I stop paying attention to Howard for a few minutes until he stops talking. I'm looking at the screenshots. It seems like one of the systems has reverted since I last checked. This makes no sense. I notice Howard has gone quiet. I'll get him off the phone. Hey Howard, that was a lot of good feedback. I'll check in with you later. I have to go. I just realized that this is a bigger problem than I thought. Systems are spontaneously downgrading, and that is the 162nd problem the auditors found. This is a tapestry of bad decisions. Lucky I'm billing by the hour. To be continued. Alright, like I said, there's 5 more parts to this story so far, so yeah, we're gonna have some good stuff to read later on when I get back to this subreddit. Let me know if you guys enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty cool story. I can't wait to see how far this goes, how deep the problems get, and how crazy Howard is, and how weird Trevor is. Alright, this story's called, Do You Have Any Tape I Can Use? Error. Print head lifted. I was greeted with this error when opening the web interface of a faulty label printer. 2 months had passed since my team had given this ticket to Dummy Team to check the label printer locally. 2 entire months of time to walk to production, check what is going on, and solve this issue. An entire epidemic had infected the globe in less. Yet here we were, still waiting for a fix. Dummy Team had finally prepared a spare printer and had asked me to make sure the settings were up to standards before they would swap it out. I was not involved until now, but I always look further than what is being asked. Normally, I'd cast a glance at the ongoing issue myself before I would give my verdict. Really? I thought to myself, that doesn't seem too hard to fix. I started reading the related ticket and mail chain to get to the bottom of this conundrum. 2 months of having to miss this printer had made quite an impact on that production line. They were pissed off, and rightfully so. Escalations had happened multiple times, managers and above were displeased. Certainly now that it had come to the point where they had to manually write their labels, and an external inspection coming up in the following days. The issue was visible across the board, and there would be repercussions, regardless of the outcome. Scrolling back in time through the ticket, I see the person who went to see the printer himself. "Oh no," I exclaimed. I had dealt with Brick before, and my verdict of him was already set in stone. Brick had the troubleshooting talent and intelligence equivalent of a brick, hence the name. According to his analysis in the ticket, the label maker would still give the error regardless of the position of the printhead. I rejected his observation without a second thought and said to Dummy Team, "Firstly, you have prepared the wrong type of label printer. You need correct type. Secondly, I'm gonna see it for myself." Off I went to the production area, hoisting myself into a sterile outfit and covering everything from my toes to the crown of my head to prevent contamination. I arrived at the scene and was met with less than friendly faces. They changed expressions, however, when I stated that I was from Team, not Dummy Team, and came to check the printer. The culprit was located on top of an electricity box. I am not a small man, but there was no way I could reach that high comfortably. I disconnected the printer and installed it on top of the only available surface, a barrel with unknown contents. I went to work on the patient while it was balancing on top of its temporary home. While crouching to get on eye level with the culprit, the single-use jumpsuit I was wearing tore from the groin to the knees. 3 hurrahs for quality control. I embraced my new AC hole with a shrug and started troubleshooting. After a while, a thought popped into my head. Peculiar. Most peculiar. I hate to admit it, but the diagnosis of Brick was correct. The printer would stall regardless of the position of the printhead lever. I looked closer at the mechanism. In an ideal world, the printhead in a locked position would push in a small button by means of a pin, signaling that everyone was good to go. I put the printhead in said locked position, but it did not seem to register. I stated with a grin, "We need to go deeper," hoping a split second later that the operators would not have heard. I applied pressure on the lever in a way that the pin would go deeper, assuming that it would apply the pressure needed to the small button. My attempt paid off. The printer LED lights turned green, and 2 months' worth of labels stuck in the queue started rolling out. I stood there for a solid 10 minutes, keeping pressure on the lever, afraid it would stop the moment I would loosen up. When the printer was released from its 2-month constipation period, it gave a happy beep. I cut that short by retracting my fingers. The printer LED lights went back to red. I scrambled the nearest operator and asked in a serious tone, "Do you have any tape I could use?" He pointed me to a drawer further away and scurried off while giving me strange looks. Ignoring his unspoken question, I retrieved a roll of painter's tape from the drawer, walked back to the printer, and taped the lever down in a way that it would keep applying pressure with its pin to the button. The LED lights turned back green. I double-checked all the settings, and to my pleasure, the web interface stated that the printer was operational. Success! I drafted a mail later that day, addressed to all involved parties. All. I myself have been to the printer and was able to apply a temporary workaround by utilization of tape. See the attached picture. Production can now continue until Dummy Team has prepared the correct printer type to swap the faulty one. Kind regards, mediocre support. I hit the send button and waited for the inevitable "Are you kidding me?" responses. I wonder what Brick will think when he sees my mail. Hey, sometimes the simple fix is the best fix because, you know what? That tape has a lot less going on, so there's a lot less of a chance it's gonna screw up its job. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.